All right, hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter tonight, and this is Chatter with Statter. Welcome in, everybody. Yes, last night we had a map Statter situation, and Thomas the Turtle, let me tell you right now, lots of F-words, lots of N-words last night, which was one of the reasons why, before I showed that movie, I did give a bit of a warning, because Tarantino's style is very Tarantino, and if you don't like it, for reasons that are very legit, that movie was not for you. But, for those of you who stuck it out, really good movie last night, Jackie Brown starring Pam Grier. If you can handle Quentin Tarantino, I strongly suggest you check that movie out if you haven't. But we're not here to talk about last night. We are here to talk about tonight and say hello to everybody who's here tonight. Not last night, tonight. We got Shock in the house. We have, let's see here, who else? We've got Terry in Scotland rating with a party of 5. I'm going to guess that Terry in Scotland is one of those 5, but so is DJ Smook, so is Katie's Aura. And let's see who else might have come in with that particular raid. Let's see here. Thomas the Turtle didn't come in on the raid, but he did subscribe to Tier 1, so thank you so much. 33 months, 10-month streak. And let's see here. You got stared at by a random cat because I told him off for chasing a mouse. Well, I don't know when that happened, Katie, but but, you know, cats are going to do what cats are going to do. And frankly, don't you think you should have rewarded him? He was doing his job, man. He was doing his job. Let's see here, though. Thomas the Turtle saying, how's it, everybody? And we've got Mama Sean on that there YouTube side. Shockalock here saying good afternoon. And we've got Darlene saying aloha. And, what else? We got, Thomas the Turtle. There we go again. Too many F and N words last night. Yep. And let's see here. Rick hopes we all got to see that planet alignment this weekend. And he's saying, how's it to Mad Statter? That's me. And let's see here. We've got Felicia Nichols saying aloha to everybody. And Pacola T is also here. Wonderful. Let's see here. I'm scrolling on down. So let's see here. All right. I think I might have said hello to everybody who's here to say hello to. Thank you guys so much for coming. We actually have something back in our midst. Something that went missing because this has still got a boo-boo. But I went to one of my old streams and I stole it back. So, you guys, we're starting to get a semblance of normal-ish. I mean, not that we were ever normal here, but we're slowly getting back on track. So, let's get this party started. Normal might be boring, Kenny. Good to see you, by the way, but after not having access to normal for a while now, it really is nice to have that intro back. For those of you who might not know, actually, here's a couple things for those of you who might not know. For those of you who might not know, this hard drive basically contained Chatter with Statter, and this hard drive is not working. So, tons of things got lost. We're slowly rebuilding. That intro is one of the first things we're getting back. I'm slowly rebuilding my Lono Listening Break collection. And also, for those of you who don't know, yesterday I got into a car accident. And it wasn't a big deal car accident. However, today I'm feeling really stiff. And I think I got a concussion. So if I start, like, not making sense, that might be why. Now, speaking of what happened this weekend, yeah, car accident, concussion, wonderful. Before this particular stream, I was thinking I was going to do myself a favor and have some lunch. So hey, Bainy Bo, good to see you. I did not see you earlier. Probably came in on that there Terry raid, like you said. I thought that I would, eat myself some nice little instant ramen because Bainy Bo and Terry in Scotland turned me on to this wonderful, wonderful new technology of instant hot water, where you just press a button and boiling water comes out of a spout. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful for things like this. The only problem... No, Shock, today, no. Isn't that funny, you should ask? I wanted noodles, gall dung it, and I didn't care if they had gluten in them or not. So no, these were gluten-y noodles, without a doubt. But the gluten gods had other plans for me, because you see, despite the convenience of pouring hot boiling water into a paper cup, when the paper cup has a hole in the bottom, it leaks out all over your counter, and you don't get to eat the contents of the paper cup. So, even though I wanted noodles, I didn't get to have any noodles. So you see, Chuck, it doesn't really matter if it was gluten-free or not. It was just non-existent in my world because that's what this weekend is all about, right? Oh no, you nearly got pulled over when on the phone to Terry because you were on the phone while driving. Yeah, actually, I had a phone call yesterday from Lono, in fact, but I had to let it go to voicemail because I had literally just gotten into my car accident after I was driving home from the car accident, and as he was calling and I was about to pick the phone up, 2 state patrollers on their motorcycles came cruising up right behind me, and it was just like, I'm not even gonna... If I answer this phone, I'm either going to accidentally run over these cops or they're going to pull me over for answering the phone. Either way, I am not going to answer that flippin' phone. But yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't do it, but you're not supposed to. And Darlene, oh no, a leak. That's rough. Exactly. We had ramen tonight and burgers. That sounds delicious, actually. You cheated. You had some fresh veggies too. Good for you. Yeah, actually, after my car accident, I did go to a restaurant and I ordered some coleslaw because I knew that I wasn't going to make any coleslaw and I needed some veggies. So I ordered coleslaw. And you were at Cinnabon. Oh, Baney Bo. I haven't been to Cinnabon and I can't tell you how many years. So I hope that you were able to eat all of the cinnamon rolls that I haven't been able to eat for years, because Cinnabon cinnamon rolls are very, very, very tasty. And yes, indeedly do, Rick, they do have rice noodle ramen, and it is gluten-free, but the rice noodle ramen doesn't come in the cups. And I wanted cup technology. I wanted technology, I wanted the technology that would work best with my instant hot water dispenser. Problem then was the cup. Oh, Baney Bo, I'm sure there's rice cup noodles somewhere, but at the store that I was at, they did not have any rice noodles in the cups. Or if they did, it was like a spicy flavor I didn't want because I'm like totally lame with spice. It's really sad and pathetic, but I really am not a spicy person. And Terry, I guess it turns out you can buy a jar full of gluten, Vital Wheat gluten. But I also know that if you just buy a jar of wheat germ, that's essentially wheat gluten as well. And exactly, Katie's Aura, sometimes those ramen noodles are flippin' just so spicy. Even, like, I made the mistake once of buying a ramen noodle that said that it had, a chili oil, and I was thinking to myself, okay, so the spice comes from the chili oil. I just won't put the chili oil in. Nah. I mean, sure, the chili oil made it a million times spicier, but even without the chili oil, it was just like, oh, my eyeballs have dried out, and I'm sweating profusely, and yeah, totally different thing. Mitchie Mama, good to see you. And no, one of my cats did not put a puka in the cup. That cup went straight from the grocery bag to underneath the instant hot water dispenser. So no, I bought it. I bought a defective cup, basically. Yeah, I bought a defective cup. And didn't I have a bowl ready to catch the leak? Well, I didn't know that there was going to be a leak, so no, I didn't. But yes, indeedly do. I did put it in a bowl eventually, but then I had to clean everything up, and then I had to come here to finish doing the stream stuff, and so by the time I was ready to eat, it was already time to come here online, and so by the time I'm gonna be eating, it's gonna be cold and mushy, and I'm not gonna eat it. So, and so, Terry in Scotland, I saw both times your question and got distracted with the answer. No, I have not downloaded it. In fact, there was a bunch of things that I was going to do last night after the movie, but I had a really bad headache, hence my concussion suspicions, and I was really, really tired. Another factor with my concussion suspicions. And so I just went to bed, actually. And I pretty much stayed in bed almost all day today as well. So, and in fact, now that I'm up and about, I'm feeling another headache come on, so I'll probably throw some ibuprofen down my throat when we're done here. But yeah, so I haven't downloaded it. It is on the to-do list, and in fact, it most likely will be done today. I will let you know when I get it down there. And so, let's see here. I got a new water kettle dispenser for 60 quid from Curry's. It holds 3 liters and has a stop button and everything. You know, Baby Boat, mine holds 3 liters too. And I would like to think that it has a stop button. I just don't know what button it is. But I don't know if it does have a stop button. I will say that if I ever buy a hot water dispenser again, I probably will because they're awesome, I will be looking for one with a stop button. And Darlene, you got to see the movie Wicked with your sister a couple of days ago. It was good. Part 1, part 2 will be coming in the next all about Glinda. This was the story of the Wicked Witch of the West of Oz. Oh, wow. I didn't know that they had it broken down into 2 parts. That is very good to, is very good to know, because I would have been very confused. I would have been like, wait, this is not even the whole story. Because I've read the book. The book is phenomenal. If you really want to, I mean, I've never seen the movie, so I don't know. I've never seen the play, so I don't know. But if you want to read a really good book, Wicked is an amazing book. It is quite literally the only book or any kind of media, any kind of argument even, that ever made me give up meat. And oddly enough, that's not at all really what the book is about. It's not a diatribe about vegetarianism, but the way, oh, dude, it's such a good book. Such a good book. And, let's see here. Let's see here. Shock, you're saying you felt that way having dinner with Keone and Bangkok. Him and Mr. Me were like, is there a problem here? I don't know what that was in reference to, but I am very glad you got to see Keone in Bangkok. And, Darlene, if I'm not better in a day or two, I'd go see the doctor, just saying. Yeah, right now, actually, the guy who rear-ended me and I are in contact. We were, oh, that was a reference to spiciness. Got it. No, the guy who rear-ended me, which, by the way, I have no ill will to the guy who rear-ended me, because I was about this far away from rear-ending the car in front of me. This could have been a way bigger accident than it was. Had it been raining, had it happened a half of a second later, there probably wouldn't be this show today, right? Things would be a very, very different situation. But, so I I'm gonna hit this car, screeching my brakes. And then I didn't, and I was like, oh, cool, I didn't hit the car. And then as soon as I said to myself, oh, cool, I didn't hit the car, and I was really wondering how the flying fork I didn't hit the car, boom, this guy hits me with his Mustang Mach-E or whatever. No big deal. His license plate was just wrinkled, and my bumper had 2 dots on it from where his bolts that were holding the license plate in hit my bumper. So everything's good. But anyway, long story short, or short story long, we are in touch. Neither of us have reported this to our insurance yet, but we are in touch right now. Like, how are you? I'm good too. How are you? I'm good too. Are you still okay? Do you think we should tell our insurance company? And so far we haven't told the insurance company. So far nobody's gone to the doctor. However, we are both very much aware that might change. And so we are in touch with each other. I mean, he was a super cool dude. Honestly, Rick, I'm not going to lie. I just got new tires. The other guy didn't. That's why I stopped. I don't know about the status of his tires. I didn't even think to look, but I have to tell you, Rick, I was blessing my new tires. I really was so thankful that about, 6 months ago, I took out a little tire loan and got my little tires, because I really do think that those tires really made the difference. I mean, really, because I'll tell you what, and actually I kind of want to go look at my tires now that I think about it, because I absolutely, heard my tires screeching on the pavement. I'm sure that there was skid marks that were left with how the brakes basically locked. I mean, there was no two ways about it. And Darlene, getting hit from behind can really jerk you hard enough to have effects 24 hours later. Hopefully not too bad. Yeah, actually, both of us knew that, which is why we were like, well, we're good now, but let's give it at least another 24 hours. And honestly, I'm going to text him later today again, and I'm going to tell him, let's wait another 24 hours, because when you're as old as we are, because he was an older gentleman as well, probably my age, which I realize isn't that old, but old enough for this to be true. Sometimes it's the day after, when you really feel it. And so I feel like if on Monday everything's good, then I think everything will be fine. And right now I am okay. I just have a little bit of a headache. And because I have to say, when he hit me, my teeth hit my skull. That kind of hurt. But mostly my stiffness is from when I was braking and grasping my steering wheel really hard. So everything that I'm sore at is this, and that had nothing to do with what he did to me. That had everything to do with me trying to not hit the car in front of me. So, yeah. And then let's see here. You retired 12 years ago. Nice, Rick. Let's see here. Pacola T. You were in the back seat of a car in Mumbai. The motorcycle in front of us braked hard. Our driver braked hard, but not before tapping the motorcycle. And we watched the rider somersault backwards over the car hood. Miraculously, the rider walked away and drove off. You know what, Pacola T? Yeah, it is amazing, though, how little force it takes to send a human tumbling when it comes to a car or a vehicle. It's like, wow, it barely tapped them, yet they flew 12 feet. Yeah, I'm so glad, though, that he was able to just roll with the punches, as it were. And oh no, Terry, you were in heavy traffic one morning going to work south of Fort Worth when a diesel tanker dropped its load all over the freeway. 30 cars banged against each other. You were the first that managed to stop in time. Oh my God, Terry, that would have been a literal nightmare. And yeah, DJ Smooth, thank you so much. I hope so too. And so far, so good. And let's see here. Bainey I've been busy sorting out the kitchen. Our kitchen floor fell right in. I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good, Bainey Bo. I hope that the kitchen floor has been fixed before you rearrange or sort it out, I guess. Oh man, not having a kitchen or not having a kitchen floor or not, that's a pain in the arse right there. And, nice, Shock. Your favorite incident was a 270-degree spin out perfectly into my planned left turn lane on black ice. Wow. Yeah, so I bet you it looked like you meant to do that. You could just walk, it's like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that. Because I'm a professional driver. Except for when I'm not, but that's okay. And, let's see here. Michi Mama, hey guys, I bought this thing called Air Moto, and it pumps air into your tires. My tires were all low, and after I got the proper air, the car drove so much better. Absolutely, Michi Mama. I actually had one rear tire that was really low. Lower than I truly don't know how it got that low. And just making turns, it felt like the back end of my car was about to swing into other traffic. It is amazing how low pressure tires can really affect the stability and the steering of your vehicle. And a lot of cars these days are getting that AirMoto or similar product add-on because, especially if you've got low profile tires, that tire pressure just absolutely 100% matters. And also, actually, though, that little add-on that you've got, Mitchie Mama, is a really good one if you live in an area with really extreme climate differences from night to day, because the air pressure and the temperature outside are related to one another. And so when you fill up your tire during the heat of the day, and then you wake up and it's like 80 degrees out when you fill your tire up, but when you wake up, it's 30. That tire doesn't have the same air pressure in it anymore. It's got lower pressure. And so that stuff is really good, actually, if you can afford one of those little add-ons and then know how to hook it up. That's a really good idea. And yeah, exactly, DJ Smook. I am. So many people I know who've gotten into rear-ended accidents have back problems later on. And so I am very much afraid of that. So far, so good, but time will only tell. And Darlene, accidents suck, no fun at all. I've been in 2, and that's too many, and none of those were your fault. Good for you, Darlene. I've been in more than 2. Most of them were my fault. One of them definitely was. 2 of them weren't, now that I think about it. But yeah. No matter if your fault or not, accidents suck. But when it's your fault, though, they do suck just a little bit more. And Baby Bo, it has now, but your parents got injured because it went right through. We were left with no water or anything for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's such a... Oh, well, I'm glad that it's getting put back together, Bainey, and I'm sorry that you're... yeah, no, it sounded like your floor fell right down. I hope it just fell down, like, a few feet into, like... The flooring fell into the subflooring or whatever. I hope it didn't fall down like stories. That would have been really scary. And your parents, I hope, are not very injured. But gosh darn it. That's kind of the thing in nightmares, right? The floor literally falls out from under you. Dude. That's, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Rick says, go to Costco and get nitrogen in your tires. I don't know if you're serious or not there, Rick. Okay. Rick, what? Nitrogen in tires? Is that even a thing? What does nitrogen in tires do? Rick, what? Rick, what? Explain yourself, Rick. And, Mitchie Mama, yeah, I didn't until recently know about the weather differences either. And where you and I live both is kind of mild weather without very much extremities between the day and night. But like, if you live in Arizona, if you live in New Mexico, if you live in the high plains, you can go for some pretty hot days that dip into some pretty cold nights. And some areas like that, actually, apparently it really is a big deal. And Mariana, so good to see you. We're talking about a car accident that I got into, and then we're talking about tires, and now we're talking about air pressure in your tires, because Mitchie Mama got this really cool thing called an AirMoto that automatically senses your tire pressure and fills it up as needed. Whew, there we go. And then we were talking about how tire pressure gets affected by the temperature. And then Rick comes in with this knowledge, which is nitrogen is something you can fill your tires with, and it stays stable at a stable pressure when the temperatures drop. I had no idea. And apparently, Mitchie Mama's coming in. Okay, well then, all right. Mitchie Mama is coming in that all of Costco's air pumps for your tires are filled with nitrogen. Wow, I had no idea. And Shock is explaining that nitrogen doesn't oxidize or support moisture or fires. Well, what do you know? I did not know any of this. So, learning a little bit today. Hey, eMusic, good to see you. I'm not sure if I said hi to you earlier, We are talking about air tire pressure, and we're talking apparently about losing pressure internally thanks to the use of beans. Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel, so eat beans for every meal. Yep, that's how that goes. At least that's how I was taught. And, so yeah. So, I hope everybody's weekend has been going a little bit better than my weekend. But I will say that if the worst of my weekend is a puka in my ramen cup and getting rear-ended but walking away, I'll consider it a win. I will also consider myself warned. March is going to be a tough one. I hear you, March. Okay, March? I hear you. I get it. March 1st and March 2nd have been a little less than ideal. And let's see here. Trail dust. I have water with red food dye in your tires. When they leak, it looks like they're bleeding. Gross. And why? Trail dust, why do you have water and red food dye in your in your tires? Are you kidding? I feel like you might be kidding, but I also feel like you might not because sometimes red dye is used in agriculture applications. So, so you notice when you're leaking. Oh, so that's why. What? But wait, hold on, y'all. How do you put water in your tires? How do you put water in your tires, y'all? And then the red dye, I guess you'd put that in the same way you'd put the water, but I don't... I'm very confused. I'm very confused. And Costco Air is a great deal because most gas station air compressors charge to use them. And after all, real air is 78% nitrogen anyways. Rick, you don't even talk to me about this. I mean, I am so annoyed at how much money some gas stations dare to charge to get your air repumped. Abso-flippin-lutely. I know all of the free air dispensers in my two neighborhoods because in West Seattle and in Burien, because I will not pay $3.75 to put air in my tires. That is offensive to me. No, absolutely not. I understand if I'm vacuuming, and you're taking my trash out of the carpets, fine, I'll pay you some money for that vacuum service, that vacuum machine. But when it comes to water, refilling my water and refilling my air, that used to be and still should be free. So yeah, absolutely got to know where the free ones are. And okay, so you are just joking, Trail Dust, because water doesn't work in Minnesota winter. That makes way more sense. And Picola Tea, exactly. Why would you want water in your tires? Doesn't that make the tires heavy and do weird things with it? And let's see here. Mitchie Mama, you always manage to get the guys at Costco to fill your tires. You're bad at using the tire gauge and one time filled too much. Well, also you guys, I don't know if you guys have what's known as Discount Tire. Discount Tire is a, Discount Tire is, see you guys, yeah, I think I might have something going on here. Discount Tire is a chain in certain states. In other states, they've got affiliated stores that are called something different. But basically, it's Discount Tires. And exactly, DJ Smoke, Discount Tires rocks. Because they will literally fill up your tires for free. Fill up the tires for free. And you don't even have to get out of the car. You just pull up and you're just like, I need my air done. And they're just like, all right. And then they look to see what kind of pressure you need, and then they'll set their machine, and they go boop, 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 and you're in and out of there in 5 minutes. And it's a beautiful thing. You don't even have to get out of your car. But, yes, Rick, overinflated tires get way better gas mileage. They really do. But they definitely don't handle, as well, and I certainly don't recommend stopping the way I had to stop this weekend on overinflated tires. And you're right, DJ Smith, they will do free tire repairs if they have the time. Absolutely, absolutely. And I have a compressor in the back of my car too. I oftentimes forget I have it, but I do have one. My dad taught me that as a kid, was just like, keep an air compressor in your car at all times. And I think I still have it. But then again, now that I think about it, I think it was stolen out of my car a little while ago. So maybe I don't. Either way, I never use it. I just go get it done for free at Discount Tires or the gas station. 2 gas stations on the corner. And let's see here. You have Dr. Steve, air compressor. Yep. And when that light comes on, I just need to get him. Thankful you are. And Trail Dust, that's so cute. You have a lot of leaky tires at work. Bleeding tires is your threat. Got it. Exactly, Shock. They have a tendency, when overinflated, the tires do have a tendency to explode more. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland. There was an old man running a gas station who was losing his hearing. A lady asked him if the station had a restroom. He thought she asked about a whisk broom. He said, just pull up by the pumps and I'll vacuum it out. I would have been very confused by that response. I mean, I like the idea of vacuuming it out, but can I vacuum it out? I mean, like, I don't even, and do I change, like, is the vacuum going to be cleaned between customers? So many questions. And let's see here, that Ford Explorer issue was because people were running their pressure high for the better ride, and the gas tank would get really heavy over the back wheel. Oh, that makes sense. And let's see here. Oh my God, Mary Anna, are you kidding me? You recently decided you were going to start learning about cars and getting into it last weekend. Your radiator busted, and you changed it yourself yesterday. You're starting to rethink cars as a hobby. Don't need to be a hobby for you, girl. As long as you know how to do the stuff when you need to, you're stoked. I don't even know how to begin. I can only assume that replacing a radiator is probably not that difficult. And when I say not that difficult, there is a huge, huge asterisk beside that. Because I will also like to say, I don't think I could do it, though. I mean, I think it's probably, in the scheme of things, one of the easier things probably to replace or take care of. But that doesn't mean it's easy at all. I don't even know you. Well, I mean, I do, but I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. You should be proud of you. I hope you are proud of you. And yes, I can appreciate why you're like, oh, maybe this isn't going to be a fun hobby. I can appreciate that. But still, though, you know, I'm super stoked for you. Dude, Mariana, super claustrophobic, so going under a car felt like being buried alive. I feel you on that, sister. 1000%. When I see people who are on those little wheelies underneath the cars, even if the cars are up on the little rampy ramps, that's too much. That's too much metal for me. No. I am right there with you. I'm super proud of you knowing this about you. And let's see here. Yeah, you just kind of started thinking, I should probably try and learn a few things about this giant heap of metal that you use every day. And not just use every day, you probably rely upon it every day. I mean, my car is a tool that I use more than any other tool in my toolbox. It's like my left hand. I have a very hard time. I feel very anxious if I don't have a car available, a working car available for me to use. It is, yeah. And let's see here. Your cabin. Oh, you and Trail Dust are talking shop. Terry in Scotland, your greatest fear is getting run over by a steamroller. You won't go near those things. You know, Terry, that is silly, right? I mean, it is. We're gonna, like they're standing still. What are they gonna do? Well, this is the thing. I don't know what they're gonna do, but if it starts moving forward, it's probably not gonna stop, and I'm too tiny to stop it. And so I would rather just not be in front of one on chance that it starts to roll, even though it's turned off. I can totally see why, Terry, in Scotland, you're just like, this, I have this fear that's kind of unjustified in this moment, but I'm still gonna have this fear, and I'm gonna not be in front of that thing at all. Exactly, Darlene. Mariana, listen to what Darlene is, well, I guess don't listen, but, you know, read what Darlene just said, because she is totally, she is taking the words right out of my mouth. And let's see here. And yes, Rick, speaking the truth, always YouTube first. Always YouTube first. And let's see here. And Mama Sean actually coming away with some very serious truth. Cars are an expensive hobby, and it takes a lot of room, so you definitely need to have room for that. And let's see here. Mariana responding to Kenny, under that car felt exactly like an MRI to me. Yeah, and Kenny's just like, I can just do whatever under a truck, but in a medical situation, you lose your bloody mind. It has everything to do, I'm guessing, with like your sense of control, right? Because when you're under your truck, you can always skedaddle out from under that truck upon your own free will, unless bad things happen. But when you're in that when you're in that M&R tube, that M&R tube, man, they're for real. They will not let you out of the M&R tube. Okay, well, it's not really an M&R tube. It's an MRI tube, but, you know, we're just going to call it an M&R tube for today. I don't know if I can go into an MRI tube because I've got metal in my leg, but I don't think the metal I've got is magnetic, so I don't know. And then I also don't know if I can go into an Okay, we're going to call it an MNR tube, just because. We're going to call it an MNR tube, all right? I don't know if I can go into that tube, because I don't know if the tube is big enough for me, because I'm a big person. And I'm afraid of how claustrophobic I would be in that thing, because I feel like I would be too big for said tube, which would make the tube feel even smaller. And then, yeah, I don't really know if I could do an MRI. And my tattoos might be a bigger issue. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I do have a lot of black work, and I think black work is the one that's got the most metallic content. Although green, I think, does too, and I might have a little bit of green. Yeah, you know, you bring up a good point. I wonder if I medically am unsafe to go in an M&R tube. M&M tube. There we go. I would love to go into an M&M tube. Okay? Put me in an M&M tube, and I've got no problem. I will eat my way out of the M&M tube. I will have no problem with. By the time I get out of the M&M tube, I will be too big to fit back in the M&M tube, because I will eat myself out of the M&M tube, sugar, chocolate, and all. Mitchie Mama, I don't know. I truly have no idea whether or not people with metal stuff can have an M&R tube. Yes, they've created an M&R tube for one client in Burien as... I don't know. I'm glad you guys know what I'm trying to say. I have no idea if having metal parts in your body affect the MRI... the MRI stuff. And I figured, as Shock just said, surgical steels have been non-magnetic for a long time. So that actually makes sense. But yeah, it is. There's metal. There's iron in the inks, especially in the black inks. And that apparently can cause, they heat up, I guess, and they can cause burns. So let's see here. They have one, Mama Sean's saying, though, they have one that is two flat discs. Hold on. hold on. They have one that is 2 flat discs you lay between, but my tats have never been a problem. Okay, I can maybe hang out with the 2 flat discs. I even if they're close to me, if I'm open on the sides, I might be able to deal with that. And Kenny, you've had 3 MRIs and I will not have a 4th. Fortunately, your tats didn't raise any issues. Nice. And Rick coming in with the reality. Google says fresh tattoos, especially those covering a large area, can cause discomfort or heating due to the magnetic fields of the MRI. And let's see here. Michi Mama, TSA can see my hip joint, I'm sure. You know, they probably can, although I have to say my ankle metal, nobody has to see it. That you can feel the metal through my skin. You can feel the screws. You can actually feel my hardware. So when I say, you know, it's like I've got metal, and they're like, "Nuh-uh," it's like, well, let me rub your fingers across my metal screws up my ankle, and then they generally feel one screw, get freaked out, and say, "Yeah, I don't want to do that." Well, you see, an MNR tube is similar to an MRI tube. What do you mean it's similar to an MRI tube? Why is it called an MNR tube? Because the person who was talking about MRIs had a concussion, and they kept saying things that they didn't mean. Oh, do you think the person with a concussion should go get an MRI? No, they need to get an MNR. Does that work, Trail Dust? My naked sock puppets, they were having a conversation. And you did have to take out your partial for your last MRI, as there's metal in its construction. That makes sense. And Darlene, though, is saying, nope, I was told on my knee replacements I cannot go under any MRIs on areas close to your knees. Like, yes, on my ankles, but not higher. Okay, so now we've got a whole different situation going on where some of it is a problem, but some of it is not. And let's see here. Mariana, though, had an MRI a few years ago. And you have a metal rod in your spine. Oh, my. You don't know what kind of metal it is, but it's made it out okay, so you must be something safe. Right. And Shock, if I have metal that close, just see if a magnet sticks to you. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll have to try that. Not right now, but I will try that. And let's see here. Pacola T, being all the tiny petite girl she is, woman that she is, I found MRIs to be calming, like a cocoon. Okay, maybe I'm just weird. You are, which is why we love you, and that's why you're here, because we're all a little bit weird here. And yes. Darlene, we're going to have to work on getting me some sock puppets, just saying. I don't know. I kind of like my naked sock puppets. But you're right, Terry. Rated R for naked nudity of the puppets. And let's see here. I know. And yes, Trail Dust, it has been a little bit. I'm glad you brought up naked sock puppet theater. We hadn't had that in a while. And let's see here. Mariana, you got here late. When was my accident? Yesterday. I got into the car accident yesterday, but before we get into that again, see Honda, good to see you. Yeah, it was just yesterday. I got rear-ended. I almost rear-ended somebody. So the person who rear-ended me, I feel no ill will towards, because I could have been that person if it under 2 inches difference, right? I was cruising down the freeway and everything stopped. Boom, slamming on the brakes. I didn't hit somebody. And just as I thought to myself, oh, good, I didn't hit that guy, ka-thunk. I was like, oh, but I just got hit. Nobody was hurt, in theory. Neither of us have taken it to our insurance companies yet. Everybody's car seems to be fine. Everybody walked away. We are waiting a couple days just to make sure something doesn't pop up. But I feel like if tomorrow I'm feeling good, then I think I'm going to be good. And absolutely, Kenny, don't let the Twitch see those naked sock puppets. And Pacola T, the noise of the MRI is freaky, though. Like, you can hear yourself being irradiated. Oh, weird. And And Mitchie Mama, yeah, I think if I kept my eyes closed in the MRI tube, oh good, I can keep saying MRI now. I probably would be better off chill. But you guys, check this out. We are 5 minutes past our Lono listening break, and you know what? I actually did pull up a Lono song, so we've got one more thing that is back to normal on this stream. Our intro was back earlier, and now we've got ourselves a Lono listening break. And apparently, Ashes wants to go to a Lono listening break because she wants my attention. So, let's do our Lono listening break. Boop.
Voila. Key of A if you got him. P.E. Lovey, Sam Leon, Hawaii Island. Come on, man.
All right. Ooh, whoops, hold on. Got to get the buttons pressed. All right, there we go. Hopefully no reverb there. Yeah, Bacola Tea, totally. I actually, the last time I got a concussion, I banged my head so hard, I literally saw stars. Like, I understood at that moment why, when the first time I gave myself a concussion, saw the stars, and at that moment, my first thought after I saw the stars was, oh, that's why cartoons always show stars when people get knocked out. Because boy, did I see stars, and didn't do anything about it because I didn't know, didn't think anything of it. Anyway, 3 days later, I got the worst case of vertigo I have ever had in my life, and of course, I was on a stairway. Anyway, I talked to a nurse, and she was like, well, you probably should have been to a doctor before now, but, and she told me what to do. So I have, I'll probably be downing some more Advil to help keep some inflammation down. I know that NSAIDs aren't necessarily the best thing to do, but I also know that when it comes to concussions, you kind of need to use them. So yeah, I will be doing that. And Trail Dust, the last time you banged your head, you saw horseshoes. Well, I saw lucky stars. You saw lucky horseshoes. Maybe somebody else will see magical rainbows and green clovers. And those will be our lucky charms. And just me, but I like looking at the stars outside at night and not by hitting my head. You're a weirdo, Rick. You're a weirdo. Yeah, not really. And Terry in Scotland coming in with more info about why MRIs aren't that bad. They do not involve exposure to radiation. Some MRI scans may use contrast dye containing gadolinium. I don't know what that is, which is generally safe, but can cause problems in individuals with severe kidney disease. Got it. And there you go, DJ Sweet. You saw lots of color splotches the last time you slammed your head hard. Right, yeah, exactly. It's amazing the images that you're... I guess I didn't really see stars in the sense of the shape of a star. I just saw a bunch of bright, flashy, explosive lights, sort of like fireworks. I'll just call them stars. And and you can only see one star during the daytime. Well, sort of. You can still see that morning star, though, after the sun is a little bit up. And and Bacola Tea. Oh, you had to go to physical therapy for your vertigo, and it really helped. Can't remember the exercises they showed you, though. And yes, absolutely, Darlene, you hate vertigo. You had it once. Terrible. It actually made you nauseous. Yes, it does make you nauseous. It absolutely does. It was, yeah, it came on me swift and suddenly. And yeah, it's really weird how swift and sudden pain, swift and sudden dizziness, all these things can make you very, very nauseous. And let's see here. Oh no, last time you had concussion, all you saw was the sharp flashes before you passed the out and later waking up in the ER. Holy not good, dude. I mean, I'm glad that someone was able to take you to the ER. Honestly, you know what? Where I was when I gave myself the concussion the first time on accident, because like who gives yourself a concussion on purpose? I don't know how long it would have been a long time. If I had passed out, I don't know how long I would have been passed out, because I was in this weird parking garage area and I was between a cement wall and my car. Like I don't know how, like I'm really, like I had never thought about that. Like what if I had accidentally knocked myself out? I don't really know. Like that could have been ugly. And, let's see here. Bacola Tea, you had to go for therapy. There's a Denver maneuver for vertigo, says Rick. Not the exact name. Okay. Okay. And then Shock saying diabetics should not get contrast on MRI. A friend of mine died as a result of that. Yeah, generally people with diabetes have their kidneys are not in the best shape. So I'm not surprised to hear that. On the other hand, I am very dismayed that their doctor didn't. I'm very dismayed that your friend had a doctor that did what they did. I guess that's all I'm going to say about that. No need for a soapbox yet. Maybe. We'll see. All right. So let's see here. We've talked about my stupid brain. And I promised last time we were on here, we were going to have maps. And we are going to have maps. But before we do maps, I'm going to try to do something. And I think you guys know what I'm going to try to do. Because you've seen me try to do this before. And usually I'm successful. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Little Ash is in the house. Little Ash is in the house. Little Ash is in the house. And now she wants to go away. There we go. So, I had to do that because, we're trying to get things back to normal. And there was a cluster foxtrot. There we go. And it says Shock. An accident of failure of the employer to provide the correct information to the hospital. Oh, no. Right. Okay. All right. Yep. The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And let's see here. Your doctor and therapist, says Darlene, actually showed me one maneuver to do for vertigo. We were going on a trip too when my vertigo happened. And they wanted me to be prepared to handle it. And I'm going to assume you're trying to say it did help as opposed to, I don't know what that other word would be. And it did help, she says. Not time for soap buckets on a not time for sock buckets on a soapbox. Exactly. And let's see here. Oh, and the guy between the hands was unconscious. Right. And let's see here. Terry, our doctors at AOO ENT specialists of the Rockies will first conduct a physical exam and evaluate your medical history to find where your particular vertigo originates. The Canalith repositioning procedure can help relieve common vertigo, such as benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. During the treatment, your head is moved in 5 consecutive positions, which progressively moves the canalith out of the posterior semicircular canal and back into the utricle. I don't even know. Okay, first off, I don't even know if I said those words right. I don't even know what those words are. I have a vague idea of what those words are trying to say. But for those of you who know what those words are and how to pronounce those words, I apologize for what I just said. Because I don't really know what I said or if I said it right. But thank you, Shock. You were impressed with my pronunciations. And they're spinning a little rocky thing back into the right part of the fidget spinner. Exactly. That's ultimately what I knew they were saying. But it's just like, you're saying it with words I don't know. Exactly. Lots of words I can't pronounce. I tried to pronounce them. I tried to sound like I knew what I was doing when I was pronouncing them. Did I fool you? Because let me tell you, if you thought I knew how to say those words, I fooled you. And I might have lucked into saying them properly. But we don't know that yet. So, and Picolati does agree. Yes, moving my head in different positions. Just can't remember the positions. Honestly, Picolati, I don't know if I'd want to remember the positions because I would be afraid, like, wait, if I did those positions backwards, would it knock it out of alignment again? You know? Got to do them in the right order, they say, right? Well, if you do them in the opposite order, will you give yourself vertigo? And Darlene's was benign. They knew where yours was from, so they knew how to properly treat it with the correct movement. Nice. All right, so Rick coming in with words I might be able to pronounce more likely, which is a few of vertigo treatments: the Epley, the Seamont, and the half somersault maneuver. The half somersault maneuver sounds like a gymnastics move. I'm not so sure I'd be up for that one. And Terry in Scotland, my problem is obvious. My utricle is off kilter. And Piccolo T, exactly like doing a reverse spell. You know, maybe it's better that we just forget the spell entirely in case we accidentally reverse it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, you guys. So this kind of has something to do with vertigo because honestly, if you're out, hey there, Elaine, good to see you coming in on the YouTube side. We've been talking about MRIs, vertigo, whether or not metal in our bodies is magnetic enough to go into an MRI. Turns out probably not, except for sometimes. But now, exactly, Piccolo T, now it's time for maps. Now it's time for maps. I promised that we would do a map. And let's see here. You trailed us like the Stephen Wright bit. What happens when you're scared half to death? Twice. That's right. We also talked about tires. Ooh, and we let Mariana brag, because she had every reason to brag, about how she changed out her own radiator yesterday. That's right. We got mechanical ladies in the house. I'm not one of them, but she is. All right. So, but now we've got maps. We've got maps. We've got these things right here. These things right here. What does this have to do with a map? What? I don't understand. What does this have to do with a map? You guys, these duckies help do something that no one ever thought they would ask them to do. These duckies got spilled in Hong Kong. They were spilled on an accidental spillage. And from that spillage came their journey. Their journey went all around the world. In 1992, there was the accidental ducks. That's right. And here's the info on what I'm talking about. In January 92, a shipping mix-up turned into an unexpected scientific breakthrough when the cargo ship Ever Laurel lost a container carrying 29,000 plastic toys, mostly rubber duckies, into the Pacific Ocean, a journey across the seas. Months later, these tiny travelers began washing up on Alaska's shores over 2,000 miles away from where they were lost. They decided to produce a unique ocean experiment. Oceanographers tracked the ducks' movements, using them as floating markers to study ocean currents and how objects disperse at sea. Ducks Across the World is what it's called. Some of these adventurous toys traveled astonishing distances, with reports of them reaching Europe years later, providing valuable insights into oceanic flow patterns. What started as an accident became a groundbreaking study, proving that even a lost rubber duck can help unlock the mysteries of the sea. Let's look again where they landed, y'all. So, okay, these ducks did not necessarily travel through all of the ocean's currents. The Indian Ocean is still a little bit of a lost cause when it comes to these little duckies. But these little duckies might still one day end up over there, because, or not, they probably dispersed to such a point and degraded to such a point that they're no longer floating around. But from 92 until 2007, that's like 22 years? No, 10 years? 15 years? 8? That's 15 years. Yeah, I can do math, just not when I have a concussion. 15 years it took to get to Terry in Scotland. But check this out. This is what I found fascinating, was if you look at the currents in the Pacific and where they go in relation to Hawaii and Oceania and New Zealand and Rapa Nui and Samoa, doesn't it make sense when you see how these ocean currents are tracked? Doesn't it make sense that the people from Polynesia were able to get from one place to another? The currents literally would take them there. I just thought that it was very interesting. The last little tiny little swoop-de-doop that comes up the South American coast would bring you right to where Rapa Nui is, for the most part. Might not be the quickest way to get there, but the currents will take you there. And so I find this fascinating, and I really know that this experiment will never happen again because, as Rick just pointed out, quacking microplastics into ocean. That's right, soapbox for sure. And good soapbox to get on, by the way, there, Rick. Which is why this is a one of a kind experiment. You know that they're never going to do this again because it's polluting. It's polluting. But this wasn't an experiment they meant to do, right? This was the pollution already happened. The pollution polluted. The pollution was those plastic toys. They already fell in the water through nobody's fault, we'll just say. And so consequently, we're never going to do an experiment like this on the other side of the world to see the other ocean currents. But at the same time, though, wouldn't it kind of be neat if we could? Because it's brilliant. It's so simple to be able to track those. And I'm fairly certain that that is exactly what I'm saying, Terry, in Scotland. The ancient Tahitians came to Hawaii on rubber ducks. It's clear. It's clear that that is how it happened. They arrived on rubber ducks. None of this Paea or whatever with his big old ship. No, it was rubber duckies. Ducks all the way. A flotation of ducks. Dual held ducks. Okay, that might not really be how history happened. I'm fairly certain it's not. But I still think that it was really cool that that they really were able to outline everything. I mean, it's just beautiful. I do feel a little bit sorry for the ducks that went over the top of the world because they got a little bit chilly, I'm sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if the ducks that went over the top of the world probably got stuck in ice for a while. And the currents probably move faster than what their arrival indicates. But they were probably frozen for a little while, you know? And then also, actually, equally interesting, I feel, is the currents in the exactly, those would be called cold duck, exactly, Picola T. And yeah, they took the polar route. Yeah, they took the quick, and really it was probably shorter than any other way, because going across the top of the world, you know, when you're flying is usually the quickest route. But what I find interesting though is on the European side and East Coast of America side, these are also currents that I'm going to guess the Vikings used along their routes as well, because I think it's relatively common knowledge at this point that the Vikings did make it to parts of North America. And so with these currents just basically shooting you there, I don't know. I found it, I found this very interesting when it came to historical migration patterns as well. Like, you can literally see how man-powered ships would have gotten from one place to another. And when I say man-powered ships, I don't mean sail. I don't mean wind necessarily. I mean, you know, manually powered. And Darlene, like Rick said, every year here on the Milwaukee River, each summer there's a rubber duckies race done. Why, I don't know, but the ducks all end up, but the ducks at the end all get scooped up, picked up. It's some kind of race. There's numbers on the duckies. We used to have one of those here too, and honestly, I can't remember why. I mean, I'm sure it was for some kind of, you know, children's cancer charity, breast cancer, some sort of cancer charity, I'm assuming is what it was for, you know? And I can't even remember, don't even remember the route. I want to say, I'm going to have to look it up, but I want to say in the Seattle area, Lake Washington is a lake to the east of the city, and it's freshwater, what with it being a lake. But the city of Seattle back in the day, they made a cut. It's called the Montlake Cut, I think. Maybe not, but we're going to call it that. They made a cut and they made a canal between Lake Washington, Lake Union, and then eventually the Puget Sound. So boats from the freshwater on the east side of the city could go through the channel and through the locks to the saltwater. And if I remember correctly, that's what the route was for the duckies. They put the ducks in Lake Washington, and then they waited to see which duckies would be the first ones to get to the locks. And then they would gather them all up at the locks, because you can lock the locks, and they can do that. And then whoever the first person, who's ever, like I was ducky number 42345, and if ducky number 42345 was the first one, then it's like, ooh, I win a Red Ryder BB gun or whatever the prize is. But ultimately, yes, ducky races are for charity. And then all the ducks are in a containment boom so they don't get out into the wild. Right. There you go. That makes sense. Yeah, and basically we've got a containment boom that's known as the Ballard Locks, which literally can block the water, and that it's stopped. Now we gather them here. And Mama Sean coming in with that North End knowledge, because I'm a South End girl, and that Montlake Cut is up there in the north, and I wasn't sure what I was talking about, but it is the Montlake Cut. All right, so I don't know why I kept it on that map for so long, but I felt like I had to have my map quoted up. And I did have another map for today, but I realized that the other map that I have has way more stuff to talk about than I had prepared. So we're not going to talk about that, but I will give you this little hint. Next time we have Chatter with Statter, in theory on Wednesday, I'm not going to promise Wednesdays for a while, you guys. I wish I could say for certain, no, I'm not doing it on Wednesdays for the next month. I wish I could say for certain, yes, I am going to do these Wednesdays for the next month. I don't know, man. You guys, work right now is just craziness. I just don't know if Wednesdays are going to happen. Assuming Wednesday happens, we're going to look at this map. But if it doesn't happen on Wednesday, then next Sunday, we're going to look at this map. And we're not going to talk about all these things on this map, but we are going to talk about this map. And just for giggles, does anyone know what that map was of? Does anyone know what country that map was? What was that map of? Of course, Picola knows. Of course, Picola knows. Because she been everywhere. She been everywhere. Yeah, she been everywhere. She been to Indonesia. She been to China. She been to... I can't... She's been too many places. I can't sing that song. That's right. And so, exactly, Darlene, tax time, very busy time for me. Not only is it a busy time, y'all, like for the last 20 some odd years, we've had 2 or 3 people in our office, and that's it. We have recently hired a new person. So I'm training them. I'm creating new systems for workflows because she's in the office, but some other people are out of the office, but they still need to work together. So the last, 15 tax seasons I've been able to do on autopilot because it's all the same. This year, it's not all the same. This year, it is completely flippin' flirpin' different. And so it is a different tax season this season. And yeah. And let's see here. Michi Mama, though, coming in Hawaii, the Rubber Ducky fundraiser was for the United Cerebral Palsy Association of Hawaii. Exactly. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland explaining to the people who don't know, which is everybody, the Montlake Cut is the easternmost section of the Lake Washington Ship Canal, which passes through the city of Seattle, linking Lake Washington to Puget Sound. It opened in 1916 after 56 years of conservation and construction to create the man-made canal. That is correct. So there you have it. And the Ballard Locks is the final point of that ship canal. And that is where the saltwater meets the freshwater. And the freshwater is at a higher elevation than the saltwater. So they have to, bring them to level. Flirpin' different. Yep, flying, flirpin', flippin'. I think that Flippin' Flirpin' might actually end up being a t-shirt, because I've been saying Flippin' Flirpin' for a long time now, thanks to roller derby. And I have to use it. Well, first off, every time when you're a roller derby announcer, you have to assume that everybody in the room, even if it's an adult bout, you have to assume everybody in the room brought their children with them. So you want to be family friendly. But when you're announcing junior roller derby, which I used to do a lot, you really need to make sure you're family friendly. And luckily, the families that I've been able to work with up here in the Puget Sound are cool enough that they will let Flippin' Flirpin' slide. However, I have had to have a conversation, because that was towing a line of almost not okay for the juniors. Luckily the littles don't seem to catch what I'm referencing, and it's only the teens that are like, hee hee hee. But yeah, I have actually had a discussion with a coach once about my use of the word Flippin' Flirpin', or words Flippin' Flirpin'. So, yeah, I think that might be a good t-shirt. Although, another thing, or a sticker, because I found myself saying this, and this is a really bad habit. I say burpeter a lot, and I don't know if I say burpeter a lot here. I think I do. But when I got into the car accident and I was talking to the guy who, I used that word so many times, and I kind of felt foolish every time it was coming out of my mouth, because I was like, he doesn't really know me well enough to know what my burpeter filling phrase actually means. So I don't know what, he probably thought I was speaking gibberish, speaking in tongues. And Pecola T, in my early 20s, I went canoeing at Montlake. Our afternoon was interrupted by a man in the weeds wearing a mask. Just a mask. Waving to us with not his mask. And yeah, that's your memory of the Montlake cut. Nice, nice. Actually, you know what, Pecola T, if I remember correctly, there's a nude beach in Montlake. And that might have been where you were near. Doesn't make Montlake any more tempting to go visit. I'm just saying, I think there's a nude beach there. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland. Flippin is a city in Marion County, Arkansas. The population is 1345. Nuh-uh. Oh, 1345. Okay, sorry. I forgot that. Never mind. At the 2020 census, the city was named for the Thomas Etch Flippin family, and was incorporated in 1921. Clearly, I'm having trouble with letters today. H is now Etch. Okay, that's cool. MRI is now an MNR. Cool. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Let's see here. You are fluent in gibberish. I feel like I am too. Although, actually, I think people at the bar do think I'm fluent in gibberish, because there's this one client at the bar who speaks pidgin English, and nobody can understand him. In fact, one of my friends, honestly, to this day, still thinks this guy is legitimately mentally ill, and he doesn't understand how he holds a job. But he just speaks pidgin. I understand him just fine. I talk to him with no problem. But neither of the bartenders can understand him. They're just like, I never know what he's saying. And I was like, how do you not know what he's saying? But then I realized, I guess they don't speak pidgin at all. And the ironic thing is he's not even Hawaiian. He's Mexican, but he grew up in Hawaii. So he looks like he's a little bit Hawaiian, and he speaks pidgin, but instead everybody thinks that he's speaking gibberish and crazy. And Michimama, exactly. Little McKenna Beach is another place you might see somebody in a mask. And that's all that that's all that they were wearing, is a mask. A sunscreen mask, right? Right. Yes. And actually, here's a story I think I can tell you guys. I don't think Lono will mind. So Lono has a song. He hasn't released it. It's an old song. It's on an album he's not really that proud of, so he hasn't really released it. But he has a song called Little Red Man. And the song title is actually LRM, Little Red Man. And it was about this homeless dude who was very tiny in stature, and he had red hair. And this homeless guy was everywhere on Maui. Like everywhere Lono and his girlfriend went, this redheaded homeless guy just ended up being. Redheaded dude wasn't stalking him or nothing. It was just coincidence. But like everywhere they went, and they would make jokes about it. It's like, God, he's everywhere we go. One day they went to Kauai. And who did they run into? Little Red Man walking down the street. And they were just like, you have got to be flying, flirping, kidding me. So at that point, Lono wrote a song about how Little Red Man is everywhere. So he records the song. The album has not yet been released yet, right? He records a song, and it's LRM is what the song is called on the album. Well, one day, Lono's girlfriend was at Little McKenna Beach in Kihei on Maui. For those of you who don't know, Little McKenna Beach, not the big beach, not the main beach, but the little one, at least used to be a nudist beach. I'm not sure it's still a nudist beach, but it definitely used to be a nudist beach. So she was at the nudist beach, and she was walking along, and who did she see? She saw Little Red Man lying on his stomach, taking a nap in the sun. And from that moment on, that LRM did not stand for Little Red Man. It stood for Long Red Man, because even though he was on his stomach, my oh my, there was this appendage coming out from underneath his body that was about as big as his flipping arm. So yeah, Little Red Man that day, that song turned into Long Red Man. He wasn't little anymore. He was a long red man. And so normally I don't try to tell a lot of stories about Lono songs that haven't been released, but I got to tell you, I love that story and I love that song. It's a good song, but the story's even better. So yeah, Long Red Man, everywhere they go. And you're right, Trail Dust. I did manage to say LRM right. Yeah, so there you go. And let's see here, Darlene coming in. I met one of those kinds of dudes leaving the grocery store parking lot, waving to all the cars, leaving in his birthday suit until the St. Francis police got there. Oops. Oh, you guys, actually, I want to say, so last Chatter with Statter, when we talked about the halftime at the Super Bowl, and I was using Josh Johnson as the explainer. Josh Johnson, I wish I could remember what his bit was called so you could watch it. He has a bit where he was in San Francisco and he saw this pirate, a guy fully dressed like a pirate, trying to mug people from Brazil. And then this like Starbucks worker came out and like somehow stole the sword that the pirate had from him. So then the guy like steals the sword, and then the pirate starts chasing after that guy, and then this other couple sees what's going on. And I don't know if you know this or not, but it's legal to be nude in San Francisco. Walking around naked in San Francisco is fine. So this dude from this couple comes up to get the pirate, but he's a nudist. And so he starts punching the guy, and then the pirate is confused because he didn't know he was focused this way and the puncher came this way. And so then he sees this naked guy attacking him, and they end up on the ground. And I'm not telling you this story well enough, but Josh Johnson, naked assault, naked man punching a pirate. Google it. You will giggle because you will. And yes, we've got the 3-minute warning. We've got the stop. Thank you so much, Shock, for throwing down Josh Johnson's comedy reel. Oh, did you find the naked pirate compilation or not? Yeah, I don't know if that's the one that talks about the naked pirate or the naked guy and the pirate, but if it is, that's the one you want. So, I have the Google FU, the Google foo. It mentions Brazil. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, then that's probably it. I don't know what FU mean. I mean, I know what FU mean. Anyway, we're going to stop now. You should go watch Josh Johnson because he's funnier than I am. And I want to thank everybody for hanging out here tonight. Google Foo. Gotcha, like Kung Fu. Right. I get it now. I might be concussed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this incredibly bizarre stream tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out last night and watching Jackie Brown if you were there. Next Statterbox at the Cinema is going to be 6 p.m. at the usual secret time. And it's going to be Dolly Parton. It's going to be Lily Tomlin. It's going to be Jane Fonda. That's right. It is going to be 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. And that's all I know without looking the words up. So I'm going to stop singing now. All right. There you go. And thank you, mods, for hanging out. I'm hoping that we didn't have to do much on the mod sets. I didn't notice if you did. And if you did do it, then you obviously were super swank at it. So go outside and look at the planets if you can. And hopefully we'll see each other Wednesday. I really do. But if we're not going to see each other Wednesday, I'll throw up what I always throw up, which is, are you watching this? Don't watch this kind of thing. There we go. Oh, and I just burped. All right, on that note, I guess we better go. Take care, y'all. Have a great week.